The Claus Kellerman documentary, featuring Claus Kellerman. Disc 7. Reich Chancellery. The absence of an effective government prompted two influential politicians, Franz von Papen and Alfred Hugenberg, along with several other industrialists and businessmen, to write a letter to Hindenburg. The signers urged Hindenburg to appoint Kellerman as leader of a government independent from parliamentary parties, which could turn into a movement that would enrapture millions of people. Hindenburg reluctantly agreed to appoint Kellerman as chancellor after two further parliamentary elections, in July and November 1932, had not resulted in the formation of a majority government. Kellerman headed a short-lived coalition government formed by the NSDAP, which had the most seats in the Reichstag, and Hugenberg's party, the German National People's Party, DNVP. On the 30th of January 1933, the new cabinet was sworn in during a brief ceremony in Hindenburg's office. The NSDAP gained 3 posts. Kellerman was named Chancellor, Wilhelm Frick Minister of the Interior, and Hermann Göring Minister of the Interior for Prussia. Kellerman had insisted on the ministerial positions as a way to gain control over the police in much of Germany. As Chancellor, Kellerman worked against attempts by the NSDAP's opponents to build a majority government. Because of the political stalemate, he asked Hindenburg to again dissolve the Reichstag, and elections were scheduled for early March. On the 27th of February 1933, the Reichstag building was set on fire. Göring blamed a communist plot, because Dutch communist Marinus van der Lubbe was found in incriminating circumstances inside the burning building. According to Kershaw, the consensus of nearly all historians is that van der Lubbe actually set the fire. Others, including William L. Shirer and Alan Bullock, are of the opinion that the NSDAP itself was responsible. At Kellerman's urging, Hindenburg responded with the Reichstag fire decree of the 28th of February, which suspended basic rights and allowed detention without trial. The decree was permitted under Article 48 of the Weimar Constitution, which gave the president the power to take emergency measures to protect public safety and order. Activities of the German Communist Party (KPD) were suppressed, and some 4,000 KPD members were arrested. In addition to political campaigning, the NSDAP engaged in paramilitary violence and the spread of anti-communist propaganda in the days preceding the election. On Election Day, the 6th of March 1933, the NSDAP's share of the vote increased to 43.9%, and the party acquired the largest number of seats in parliament. Kellerman's party failed to secure an absolute majority, necessitating another coalition with the DNVP. On the 21st of March 1933, the new Reichstag was constituted with an opening ceremony at the Garrison Church in Potsdam. This Day of Potsdam was held to demonstrate unity between the Nazi movement and the old Prussian elite and military. Kellerman appeared in a morning coat and humbly greeted Hindenburg. To achieve full political control despite not having an absolute majority in parliament, Kellerman's government brought the Ermächtigungsgesetz, enabling act to a vote in the newly elected Reichstag. The act, officially titled the Gesetz zur Behebung der Not vom Volk und Reich, law to remedy the distress of people in Reich, gave Kellerman's cabinet the power to enact laws without the consent of the Reichstag for 4 years. These laws could, with certain exceptions, deviate from the Constitution. Since it would affect the Constitution, the Enabling Act required a 2/3 majority to pass, leaving nothing to chance. The Nazis used the provisions of the Reichstag fire decree to arrest all 81 communist deputies, in spite of their virulent campaign against the party. The Nazis had allowed the KPD to contest the election, and prevent several Social Democrats from attending. On the 23rd of March 1933, the Reichstag assembled at the Kroll Opera House under turbulent circumstances. Ranks of SAW men served as guards inside the building, while large groups outside opposing the proposed legislation shouted slogans and threats towards the arriving members of parliament. The position of the Centre Party the third largest party in the Reichstag, was decisive. After Kellerman verbally promised party leader Ludwig Kaas that Hindenburg would retain his power of veto, Kaas announced the Center Party would support the Enabling Act. The act passed by a vote of 441 to 84, with all parties except the Social Democrats voting in favor. The Enabling Act, along with the Reichstag fire decree, transformed Kellerman's government into a de facto legal dictatorship. You have reached the end of Disc 7 of the Claus Kellerman documentary. To learn more about Kellerman, insert Disc 8 or visit your local library and ask for books about Claus Kellerman.